Hello and welcome. Apologies, it's been so long since we've had an SR250 video up. Not really through any fault of my own, a little bit of my own fault, but it's mainly due to waiting for other people, which will all become apparent as the video goes on. Basically, I've got to a point today where what I was hoping to have to conclude this particular episode will not happen, and I can't be bothered waiting anymore, and I wanted to put the video up. So I'm just going to put together what I've got, put it up there and explain as we go along. So yeah, not quite brought to the conclusion I'd hoped it would have done, but hey ho, there we go. So I'm just going to show you what I've got and explain as we go along, so enjoy.
It's great, isn't it?
I love it. It's
Cool beans, right? We got the headlight all pulled apart, and definitely not going to be staying chrome. So first thing I'm going to do is if I try some 600 on there, just try and dull it down. I'm quite keen at the moment on the idea of dulling it down rather than going black. Black would normally be my default setting, but that one's already quite black. It'd be nice to do something different, and I think now with the tank and the chain guard, maybe just that little bit of colour would be sort of, I say colour, but just the bare metal-y kind of look would be quite interesting. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so I've got a little bit of scrap. Don't know what that. Oh, that's off the chair that I'm sitting on. I lowered it, but a little bit of chrome. So I've just given it a couple of quick light goes over with the 600. Although it's quite hard through the camera, I think, to pick up. It's not looking too bad. Quite a nice effect, but obviously that's just with just literally holding it, twisting it around a few times, and just seeing it still. So there's chrome, there's otherwise. So yeah, I think let's hit the real thing. In a somewhat provocative pose. This seems to be the most comfortable and easiest way of doing it. I'm just going to go around in circles, I think.
Right, no, forget the last. I don't like the brushed. Did it? It looked kind of quite nice, but when I just put it up on the bike, it just kept hearing black would be better in there. So yeah, I've defaulted back to my original. So the headlight bucket is now black. So that's had loads and loads of coats of black on there. So it's been a couple of days drying. So that will be black, and then the bottom mount that it goes onto there and bolts on is all going to be black. However, I have kept the outer ring. I've brushed that in a sort of, so it's more of a dulled, almost a nickel-y kind of look to it, and I think that with that will look quite nice. So there we go. It's kind of 50-50, a little bit of both, but for me that's the winning combination, so that's what's happening. So yeah, so I have to be very careful putting that on this, so I don't want to scratch anything. But that means now we are ready to stick the headlight on, get it all wired up and finished. So I've been out and got some 3-pin connector blocks, so effectively I'll be able to plug the headlight into the loom, because at the moment the wiring that, I haven't got it here, it's over there, but the wiring that came off that headlight was kind of like a female, sorry no, male version of one of these plugs. So this is what you kind of see on the back of your headlight, isn't it? And then, you know, your bulbs in there. So it's like kind of one of those that fitted into another one of those to connect it up, and that's all quite big and chunky, and plus I've got quite a lot of wire from the headlight and still all the original existing wire from the original light. So I need to kind of work out how much I need, chop it all right down, get my earth and the positive for the pilot light routed through and get those crimped in, see if I can save, because quite a lot of wires going with separate grounds and positives, so I can condense a few of those and yeah, cut it down to size. And then I've got some of this nice stuff, which is like your wiring loom wrap, stretchy, so that goes from 7mm to 15, and I'm gonna just sleeve it in that so it looks nice, neat and tidy, and you just haven't got loads of electrical tape. That's it. Right, let's get cutting and cracking. So if we come in, as you know, just check it all works before starting to chop things, but that all works as we want it. Connected up, so at the moment you can see there the existing loom wires, and so they're connected up to these wires for the headlight, and then I've got my pilot light that goes to, I'm using the existing live from the original pilot light, just in a bit of a obviously a bit of a botched kind of way to make it sure it works, and then I'm earthing it off, where are we, this one here, so that is earthing to the same one as the headlight will earth to, so it just makes less bulbs really. So before I start snipping and cutting, we know all that's right, I'm going to jot down everything, which wire white goes to green and blue goes to, white goes to green, blue goes to yellow, green goes to black, so I don't get those mixed up. And I better reassemble the headlight bowl as well. Start off with the headlight bit. We've got now the earth from the pilot light joins up with, which is the green one, joins up with the earth on the main bulb, so that saves a wire. And we've got this one, which I've put another connector on, which will join up with this one, but that will all be sleeved together with the main bulk of the wires, if that makes sense. So for some reason I couldn't get the pilot light to work off one of these lives. It only worked when it came off the separate live, so I've had to keep this one in, hence that one there. I don't know why, I'm not any good with electrics really. So that's all pretty much together now. I've dispensed with the bulb that was on there. There was a little bulb which also showed the high beam on the body of the headlight shell. You can't see it when it's on there. There'll also be a high beam indicator on the speedo. It's kind of surplus to requirements. The plastic little light
sort of bit on the top was a bit crappy and flimsy, and I think that's going to let water in, so that's gone, and I've sealed that and put a nice black button head screw inside. So that's thinned that out, and then onto the wiring from the loom. So we've got this is the live, and you'll notice there's two wires. I've got one coming back off that, which then runs here, quite a long bit of excess off there. That will go. That's the live going up to the clocks, which will power the light off the bulb in the speedo illumination or the clock illumination. So I've got that one spare. I've put the tabs on the end of this one. Just got this one to do now and heat shrink it. And then we put that connector block on, or sleeve it, then put the connector block on. Don't want to forget that. And that should be all that nicely tidied up, ready to just plug the headlight into. The finished loom end anyway of what the headlight will plug into. So I'm quite pleased with that. Quite a neat little job. It's a nice and easy, just click, and that's sorted when it mounts up on there. Right, so far so good, you would think. This is where things actually then went a little bit tits up. I was very, very careful with the bolt. Obviously stretching that the headlight ring around there is kind of very tight and close, and I really didn't want to scratch it up. But for whatever reason, I left the paint on there to cure for about a week it was, and whether I just didn't key the surface or whether it's just, I don't know, it just didn't adhere as well as I'd hoped it would have done. And as a result, I did chip it a little bit, and a big bit flaked off as I was trying to get that ring on, and I just like, that's not good enough. It sucks. I could have rubbed it down, resprayed it, but then I would have had to have waited again. And I thought, let's get it done properly. We needed to take some handlebars for Jen's America to the powder coaters. I thought I'll throw the headlight bowl in there as well and get that done. Initially we thought it was going to be about 3 to 4 days to get it done. Unfortunately for me, but I suppose fortunately for them, they've been swamped with work at the moment, and our little order of headlight bowl and handlebars have been pushed back and back and back down the priority list, which I'm a little bit narked about. And it's been almost 2 weeks waiting for the stuff to come back. Went in there today, which is Thursday, still not done, hopefully by the weekend, but I just wanted to get a video up. So you're not going to see in this episode the headlight on the bike. I'm really gutted. It's a bit of a shame. That's where I'd hoped to have kind of got the video up to. So literally we were just a speedo away from kind of finishing 1 or 2 other little jobs. But yeah, it's conspired against me. I've just literally been waiting and waiting and waiting to get that back and hopefully film fitting the powder coated headlight on and getting it up there. So there we go. It doesn't always work out how you want, but never mind. So also to fill in the time, I mean, in the meantime, I have Jen's bike we've started stripping down. That needs a good service and a few other changes she wants making to it, so that's occupied my time. I haven't bothered filming that. It's just a general service really. I might show a few bits as we go along. I thought I'd try and concentrate now on some sort of bracing for the front of the SR250. I just wanted to firm up the front end a little bit, and so I decided to have a look at what I've got and what I can do to make a mudguard or front fork brace. So this is what follows now. Enjoy. Okay then, so time to try and make a brace for the front mudguard. I'm going to use some of that road sign thick aluminium that I had, and I've cut the first strip of it down, and let's see how that goes. So that's the scrap that I'll end up using for the brace. I think it'll just be a little bit more malleable like that. So let's try and get bending and messing around, see if we can make something that works. In the absence of a fire extinguisher or something nice and cylindrical that I can use to bend round whilst it's still nice and warm, let's try the
so that's quite a nice bend there. Let's just see. I'll offer it up to the front and see how it's looking for width wise. Oh, not too bad of a fit, I don't think. Yeah, should work all right. Wise, it's about right, I think. Yeah, just gotta line it, mark it up, get all this backing crap off it. Alright, I'm slightly inspired to continue on. Right, that works. Now all I've got to do is make sure I don't cock it all up by not drilling the mudguard hole mounts in the right place. Sure, will be fine. Okie doke, so fingers crossed. Just made a little punch marks there and there. According to all my calculations, that should be where the centres of the hole are. So let's drill it. Okay, so we're drilled out to 11mm, because I think they are 10mm holes, so that will give me a little bit of wiggle room should I need it. And if I am slightly off, I think I can probably risk running up to 12 and we'll be okay. Fantastic, it all fits and bolts in nicely. I ended up the threads that I tapped in the fork legs for the mounting bolts were M10 coarse thread 1.5. So the only ones I had, and it's not a bad thing, were these stainless button heads, but they were about 12 centimeters long. So I've cut them down to 1.5 centimeters. Just get in there, and I just think they're a little bit more flat and low profile. It's picking up. So yes, I'm very happy with that. So that's the mudguard, the brace at least, roughly together. I don't think I'm actually going to do anything. I did wonder the old holes thing, but I'm going to leave that as is because I may very well mount a very small bobbed mudguard to this, or at least leave meat on there so you can do. But it's a nice solid brace. I quite like the bare metal actually. Well, not that there's anything else on there at the moment, but that will tie it all back in. So cool. That was just a little niggle. So I'm pretty chuffed about that. I just need to take this off now, round off the edges here so it's nice and smooth looking, and give the whole thing loads of filing down and smooth off all these edges and just make it look nice. So wicked. And there we go, finished. So just the bottom's rounded over, some copper slip on the bolts this time as well, so if these ever has to get removed, we haven't got the headache that went along with it last time. And then just pretty much smoothed over and sanded over the top, and then just a sort of a light auto sol. Nothing too major because I obviously don't want it polished up. I want it kind of muted so it matches in with the tank and the chain guard. So there we go. I'm going to leave that as that. I'm happy with it like that. The option is that if anyone wanted to fit a mudguard to the bike, then that's not difficult to do. I quite just like it. It's a bit of an accent there. I think it looks quite interesting.
So awesome. That's that one ticked off the list.
So there we go. End of this episode. Unfortunately, didn't quite get as far as I thought I was going to get. I really had hoped to have had the headlight powder coated, bolted on, all wired up neatly, all finished and done by the end of this episode. But there you go. It's out of my hands. I can't really help that. Just gonna have to wait for the powder coaters. So I'll keep my fingers crossed that I'll get it back this weekend. And then yeah, then it'll be drawing ever closer. What I'll probably do is try and get a speedo ordered. I need to do a bit of research on what ratio to go for. It's still not something I've got completely dead straight in my head on how to work that out. I know there's a way of revolutions with the amount of the speedo drives, but I'm not going to sit there rolling the wheel. I'm trying to do the lazy method and just type into Google, what ratio mini speedo do I need for an SR250? 2:1 seems to be a fairly possible one to come up. Again, it's not something I should sit down and really work it all out, you know, but there we go, I haven't, and I've certainly had the time. I should have done it, but there we go. If anyone has any ideas what kind of size mini speedo to go for, that'll always welcome in the comments below. Yeah, I'll try and get one of those ordered up over the weekend. So hopefully, fingers crossed again, if nothing conspires against me, the next video might be a speedo on there and the headlight on there, and apart from one or two little tiny details, that will almost be it. So it's, yeah, just milking it for as long as possible. But so there we go. Anyway, enough waffling. Thanks ever so much for watching. Take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon.